Good morning, everybody. During our weekend dog walk, my wife instructs me to create another tutorial how you can get a nice vintage look from your DJI Pocket 2 8-bit footage, and therefore we start direct after the intro. The 19s are back, so let's create a 19s VHS or television looks. By the way, it's 8-bit footage, shoot with my Pocket 2 and a fixed white point of 5600 Kelvin. So first things first, let's create a node tree. At the first row, we put 2 additional nodes on our tree. Then at the second row, let's say we create 3 additional nodes. Then at the third row 2 additional nodes. And on our fourth node, again, 2 additional nodes. Let's give it a name. First one called NR for noise reduction. Second one, 2 rec for 2 rec 719. Third one, IDT. That's where our input color space transformation will happen. These are adjustment layers. You can give it a name later. And that one will be film damage. And that one will be analog damage. These last two, ODT for output, color space transformation, and last but not least, Fuji for our Fuji finally film LUT. So let's start. First of all, in that case, we go an opposite way. We need basic Rec 79 Gamma 2.4 image, and therefore we start with our Gamma 2.4 Rec 79 conversion LUT. Now we create a basic Rec 79 image, and the next step we will convert the color space by using the color space transformation. So put the effect on this node. Make your adjustments. Input color space is, as mentioned before, Rec 709 Gamma 2.4. And at this tutorial, we use a different color space. As in the tutorials before, we use the ARRI White Gamut 3 and the ARRI Log C. We do that because of the ARRI Gamut, or the ARRI color space, is a huge color space and completely clean and science-based color space, and that gives us the possibility to create more color manipulation without breaking our image. So that's very helpful for that what we want to do later in this tutorial. So now we have convert our footage into ARRI Log C. The rest of the other things here automatically, and then we can create the output color space. Let's put it here, and again color space transformation. So now we start with ARRI Gamut, ARRI Log C3, bring it in again into ARRI Gamut, and to prepare it for our final LUT, choose Cineon film lock because the film LUTs what we will use now needs a Cineon lock gamma. You can close it, bring it back to the final position, and now give it a right click, go to the LUTs, film look, and put the Rec 7 or 9 35 113D 55 on it. That's the first step. Let's close the LUTs tab to get a bigger preview. So, and we are done. That looks pretty nice. Just kidding. Now we start to create the 90s look. First, mark the film damage node, open the effects library, and type in the search bar dam for damage and put the film damage on our node. Fix the film blur around 0.015. That will be enough. And all the other sections I will explain it later. Let's go further to the analog damage and put the analog damage on that analog damage node. Mark the analog damage node, and you see there are some presets here. And these presets are really awesome. You can choose what you want, and we want to create a 90s VHS or television look. And let's do some adjustments. First, open the color dials and bring back the color. The wrong dial. Sorry, the color dial. Let's say around 1.7, somewhere around this. So now that is really way too warm, much too warm. So go back to the film damage node, and in that case we can control our white point by using the temp shift slider, and I will bring it back or decrease it more around 200. That could work fine. It was a warm sunny day, so, and yeah, for the first step that looks pretty nice for my taste. Yeah, it's around 0.2 temp shift. Then let's take a look at the second section, the vignette. I guess that will work with the default settings, because in the 19s the lenses wasn't as good as today, and they can't create a complete plain image. They create a little bit more vignette out of the camera. So yeah, I guess for that point that will work for me. The white balance, maybe, let's say, decrease it a little bit again. So go back to the analog at the color dials. Yeah, that looks pretty nice. So now you can go on a TV construction. There are a lot of other things you can play with it. I just wanna pick up some of them. So the TV construction, you have the phosphor brightness, and let's decrease a little bit because the image is much too bright for my taste. So let's take a look in full screen. Let's take a look in motion. Okay, there are scratches and a lot of noise, maybe too much noise, and the scratches in the 19s, I guess there was no scratches in our images. So what we can do now is go back to our adjustments, and let's say go, let me check it, to the broadcast signal and decrease the signal noise. Yeah, in the 19th they had more noise, but not so much. So let's decrease it. Take a look again. It's better. Not so much noise. Maybe increase it a little bit back, so you have a little bit of noise into it. So the next point here, close signal, the scan lines. You can adjust the scan lines. So the old televisions build the image line by line. Therefore, you have this line. If you play this old footage on a modern screen, you will see the lines, and I hope you see it on YouTube. There are some lines in some scan lines in that footage. You can fix it here, and let's say we decrease it a little bit. Maybe it's too much. So just a little bit. Okay, and now let's go and check the scratches. Switch the scratches off. Switches the dirt off, and check it again. Now it's without dirt and without scratches. Here you can add a lot of additional scratches, a lot of additional effects overall by enable that and adjust it scratch by scratch. Same with dirt. So now go back to the analog damage, and now it's a question of your personal prefer or your personal taste, what you want to do now. You can also give it more a look like an old television. And as you can remember, the old televisions are curved in the opposite way to our modern curved televisions. And therefore, you can use, or to simulate it, you can use this slider. Let's bring it completely in. Yeah, you see what happened here? It simulates that curved television style, and I guess let's bring it a little bit around that. And now we go back to our film damage and adjust our vignette to improve this effect. So that looks pretty nice. You can also use the mask, switch it on, and adjust it like how you prefer, or what you prefer that way. But for that example, I want to leave it off. And now enclose the effects and go further with our final adjustments. Let's start with the lights. Give it a name, lights, and I use the HDR wheels. First, I need to switch that to the right gamut and the right gamma. So now these wheels are working absolutely correctly. let's take a look where which wheels impact the image on which area. Can also hit Shift H and do a small adjustment. Now you can see where it impacts your image, and I want to impact the highlights only the highest point, so a little bit of the pants of my wife and the clouds, the highest points of the clouds are impacted. So switch this view off by hitting Shift H again. And now let's do some adjustments, and I will bring it a little bit higher. Okay. Next point, go to the lights again, do a small adjustment, hitting Shift H, and now we can see where it's impact. And these I want to bring a little bit down to create more drama into my sky. Hit Shift H again. Take a look where it impacts the image. Bring it a little bit down, just a little bit. Okay. And Shift H again. And let's see what happened. I guess that worked. So now our warm style, it's across the whole lights from 0 to the upper lights, and I don't wanna create so warm shadows. Therefore, let's adjust the shadows a little bit by using the sliders here. Again, it's more precise. Maybe in that way. Hit Shift H, see what will be in impact, and I want to impact only in the dark areas. Shift H again. You can see it's not so much warm, not so much red. It fixed the reds in my shadows. Take a look at the shadows. Maybe a little bit more. One more. 3. Okay, that looks better. Yeah, take a look at the trees here. Without, you see the reds here, and on it's more green, like the natural green. And yeah, for me it looks much better. Second adjustment I want to do is the sky more pop, the blue of the sky more pop. Go into the hue versus set, pick the qualifier, pick somewhere in my blue sky, and now increase the area a little bit. And increase the saturation. Too much. Let's say that point. On and off. Yeah, before and after. So that's much more blue in the sky. And yeah, that's it for that image. If you wanna adjust the contrast additionally, maybe let's check how it works for that image. So mark the last point, give it a name, call it such. The last adjustment node, call it contrast. Maybe let's fix the contrast a little bit. And now we go a different way as the last time. First of all, I put only one dot somewhere, let's say somewhere here, by hitting the Alt key to get a dot direct on the line, somewhere here. Then mark the black point, switched editable splines on. So bring it up just a little bit, and create such a nice curve at the end. And as always with all adjustments, it's a question of your personal taste. And that mark point help us to the other parts of the image don't be impacted of that. And you can adjust the way how it's impact. In that case, it doesn't need, but normally by hitting the Alt, you can grab it and bring it up and down. So therefore you can, and in that way you can control where your adjustment will happen in your image. So doesn't make so much, but let's test it with other images. So for my taste, it's ready for that. And so at the next step, we will bring it to different other shots. Okay, so then let's start and test it with other shots. Switch the clips on and mark the first shot by hitting the STRG key. Mark the next shot and your already graded shot. Hit the right mouse key and go to apply grade cell. Okay, let's take a look at this. For my taste, we want to create a vintage look. The skin tones will work for my taste. You can fix it a little bit, but I came from my summer vacation and was much brown. Maybe the highlights are too much, so let's fix it a little bit. Take a look here. So as I mentioned before, small change, then hit Shift H. Take a look where it impacts your image. So bring it a little bit down by using that point here. Bring it a little bit down. Now you see my face is impacted, and I will bring down the highlights a little bit, and I Shift H again, bring us back to the image. Let's take a look before, after. Maybe it's a little bit too warm, and therefore we go to the film damage. As mentioned before, we can adjust our temperature and by using the time shift slider, and let's bring it a little bit more into cold direction. So take a look at the vector scope. Yeah, for a 90s image, the skin tone will work for my taste. Let's take a look at some other shots. That one, for example, it's also way too warm, much too warm. So again, bring it down here, hit the film damage, mark the film damage node, and bring down the temp shift slider. Okay, and you can also fix the highlights. Again, small change, hit the Shift H key, see what's impacted, and bring it a little bit down. Let's say we push it just a tiny bit into a blue direction. So Shift H again. Maybe a little bit down again. Let's check it in the waveform. The sky was burnt, and there's not so much you can't fix it completely here, but you can bring it a bit down, so that's look, maybe for my taste it looks a little bit better. Okay, next one that works. It was the same day, same conditions, and therefore I would say that works. Next one, that was a very cold early morning shot, and therefore much too warm, so I bring it completely down under 0. Much better. Then we can fix the light again and again. Short change, hit Shift H, see what's impacted. Okay, but I want to bring it up to create more drama. Hit Shift H again. Then let's say a small change here. Shift H, what's impacted, not bring it down, and additionally bring it down, Shift H. So, and it's more drama. Switch it off and on. It's more drama in my sky. So yeah, that's all for today from my side. Hope you enjoyed. Hope it was helpful for you. If you like the video, you can hit any button down below, except the dislike for sure. That doesn't hurt you. It's the truth. I swear.